standing on your mat, how you feel, how your alignment feels. We're just gonna relax our arms at our sides. A little bit of length up through the crown of your head and a little bit of reach down through your tailbone. Just take a few breaths here. Really settle in for the moment. Notice if your weight is forward on the balls of your feet, if your hips are forward, bring things back a little bit towards your heels. Make your pelvis more upright. Good, and then let's start moving our arms. So you can open your eyes and inhale your arms up to the ceiling, a nice stretch right up, and then exhale all the way down. And let's do that without moving the ribs today. So keep your ribs on top of your pelvis as your arms go up, good. And then exhale your arms down. And one more time, inhale, the arms go up. Fingertips come right together, and then you side bend. Keep your ribs in line with your hips, but just side bend and then come up. So they don't move forward or back. You're just a pure side line through the body. Good. Inhale up. Nice. Exhale over. Let the side bend come into your neck. Inhale up. And one more. Exhale over to the left. Good. And inhale up. Bring your fingertips down to your shoulders and let your elbows kiss and then open them up. So we're going for that elbows right together, elbows wide apart. Just two more like this where we're slow stretching. And then we'll go the opposite direction. Elbows back and open the chest, touch the elbows. Back and open, that's it, touch them in front. Check in on your neck, keep it easy, shoulders easy. Excellent, good. Now leave your elbows pointing straight forward and just unravel your arms. Good, start turning them in, turning them out, and bringing them down by your sides. So they start floating down towards the sides of your body, elbow creases in and out. Good, spread your palms, extend your wrists, move from the shoulder joints. Good, and start pedaling your feet. So heels lifting, passing in the air. Okay, and now we've got this movement dialed down, so elongate your spine. Press the crown of your head up, pull your tailbone down. Good, now relax your wrists and make the movement more about your chest moving forward and back. So just open up the front, open up the back of the upper chest. Thinking kind of collarbones and sternum, tops of the shoulder blades, top of the thoracic spine. Good. And if it feels good, start to let your lower ribs slide a little forward and back. So now even more of the thoracic spine, good, is moving. When your arms come in front of you, add a little tuck of your tail and then swing your tail back. So the pelvis is moving a little bit as well. Good, start to make your arms bigger. So we've got the chest, upper back, the rib cage, the pelvis. Your eyes might go a little bit down, a little bit up. Your arms are sweeping. Good, lots of movement in your body for just a few more seconds. If it feels good to move in big ways, then go ahead. If you want to keep it smaller, do that. Good, keep breathing. Now start to make it a little smaller again. Good, and a little smaller until you're back to just your arms and your feet. And then you're going to relax your arms and take them into a nice, easy opposition. Yep, perfect. So a little faster with the pedaling of the feet. Fingers are splayed. Wrists are bending forward and back. Crown of the head reaches back up to your ceiling. Pull your tailbone down. Good, excellent. So keep going. I'm just gonna come a little closer. Hands are going flick, 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 flick as you go. Yes, good. And let's add a little sway of the hips because sometimes that feels good. Yeah, exactly. Get the waistline a little bit warmed up. Okay, we're gonna add a little more complexity to this movement. I want you to circle your hips around. Is that a thing? While you pedal your feet, you circle your hips. Ooh, that's kind of fun. And then go the other way. I have a feeling the second way is harder. There we go. Good. One more circle in that direction. And then land and relax everything. Good. Take a moment here. Just relax your arms. And we'll move straight into a march. So swing your arms in opposition. Lift your knees towards your belly button. Good. Excellent. Arms straight forward and back. See if even your back arm can reach more back and left side. Good, that's it. And then with that back arm going straight back, you lengthen your spine. Really nice and tall. Good, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Your arms reach up to the ceiling for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Arms into the front for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Good. Keep your spine nice and tall. 2 to the side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one to a V. 10, 9, 8, 7. Good. 6, 5. Nice wide V. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Relax your arms. Okay. Let's move our feet wide. Continue warming up all the pieces. Turn your toes and your knees in. Settle right down. Bend your knees. Hands on your pelvis. And then go ahead. Posterior and anterior tilts. So take your pelvis forward and back. Keep your ribs nice and lifted. So you're doing a great job of keeping the ribs still. Think about them floating up and off the pelvis. Good, as you tuck and untuck. Good, drop your arms down. Keep the tuck, untuck movement going, just a few more. Really pull the low back into a longer shape. Good, and now go for a circle of the pelvis. Start to bring your arms up to the sides as you circle your pelvis. Lift your ribs away from your pelvis. And then go the opposite direction for the circle. Lengthen the neck. Maybe tuck the chin in a little bit. Watch so the ribs don't push forward. Good. And now from here, turn your palms out. Palms to the ceiling, externally rotated. Extend your wrists and take your pelvis on a figure of 8 and reach through the heels of your hands at the same time. So you're stretching open across the upper body while your pelvis, good, swivels around underneath. And then you're gonna pause and go the other way. Swiveling the pelvis in an infinity symbol shape. That's it, lifting the ribs, pushing the heels of the hands away. And then let's land in the center, bend your knees, tuck your tailbone, and start to glide your ribs side to side. Good. Find a movement and a length or a range of translation where you can keep those hips nice and steady. Good. Pull the tailbone down just a little more. Let the crown of the head lift up by bringing your chin in and back. Good. Let's go 4 more. 3, 2. We'll go over to the left now. Hold the left. Side bend over. Take a couple pulsing stretches here. Tuck the chin again. Pull the tailbone down. Good. Breathe as you stretch over. Very nice for 3, 2, 1. Come all the way up. Translate over to the right. Side bend. Tuck the chin. Elongate the spine. Add a little pulse. And think about those arms pushing away from you. Every time you pulse into the side bend, the arms push. 3, 2, 1. Come out of the side bend. Translate back to center. Bring your arms up. Almost there. Heel to walk your feet in. Right underneath your hip sockets, tuck your tailbone. Draw your chin in and back. Press your palms up to your ceiling. Bring your lowest ribs back. Bring your low back back. Look down over your cheekbones and lift all your toes. Stretching the whole body out for 10, 9, 8, 7. Externally rotate your arms a little more. 3, 2, and 1. Bring your arms slowly down. Relax your toes. Relax your spine. Relax your eyes. Good, nice work. Just let everything soften for a moment here. We're going to be moving down to a kneeling position on the mat. So if you need some extra cushioning or you want to roll your mat up, you can do that. We're going to go into one knee down, kneeling position. And we're going to work a little bit today on hip extension before we move into all of our ELDOAs. So here we go. All I want you to do is find a comfy position. Let's have the left knee down and the right foot up. I'm just turning to the side for demonstration. You can be in any direction you like. And you're going to tuck and untuck your pelvis a couple times. I should really probably be this way. So left knee down, right knee up, and tuck and untuck your pelvis. And see if you can really feel the front hip opening up, or that left hip opening up, as though the hip bone is pulling up and away from the knee on the floor. Good. And then hold that position and put your hands on your hips, and you're going to glide forward a little bit, keeping the tuck. And then you're going to send your sit bone back and bend that hip. So you come up, you tuck your pelvis, slide forward, and then you send your sit bone back. So we're trying to get this front or this left hip to go into extension and then to fold and go into flexion. There's an alternative option here. You could put your hands down and you can shift back and forth with your hands down on the floor if you want to do that. So nice and slow, opening up that left hip and then really sending the left sit bone back. Maybe just 2 more like that. Getting that left hip opened up and down. Okay, and then we're gonna come all the way up and we're just gonna put one hand on the left back pocket, one hand on the right knee, tuck your tailbone under, elongate your spine, and for a moment think about the the right knee and the left back pocket moving apart. So just a little kind of an opposition. It's not going to move, just by sense. And then you're going to relax that tension and we'll switch over to the other side. So now I'm going to do right knee down, left foot up. Good. And you can put your hands on your pelvis here if you would like. If your right knee is down, you're going to tuck your tailbone and imagine pulling your right hip bone up away from the knee on the ground and then release it. So we do that a few times, kind of tuck and untuck, and see if you can feel that right hip bone pulling up and away from the floor while the right knee stays anchored into the floor. And the rest of my spine is just gently elongated. So I'm still lifting my ribs away from my pelvis. 2 more times, that little tuck and then release. And 1 more time, tuck and then release. Now we keep the tuck, bend the left knee a little bit to go further into the stretch, and then release it, send your hip back. And then come up, tuck the pelvis, go into extension, send the sit bone on the right side back. So we're moving that hip through full extension and full flexion, almost full flexion. Extension forward, hip bone forward, not belly button, not ribs. If you want to put your hands down and go gliding side to side here, you certainly can. We're just going to do a few more front to back. And 2 more. Good, and 1 more, front to back. Good, now let's take our knees both down. You're gonna sit back on your heels, if you can. If you need to put a pillow between your feet and your bum, you can do that too. And you're gonna walk your hands back. Now, if you have nice long arms or even normal length arms, not short ones like mine. You might be able to have your palms down, but I usually have to be up on my fingers or even up on my fists. And for now, what you want to think about is keeping your knees pointing straight forward in line with your hips. And this is just a little bit of a test. I want you to tuck your tailbone under right here, and then see if you can not lift your hips, but push your knees down towards the floor. Reach your kneecaps away from your hips and extend the front of your hips. Good, and take a few breaths here. Now, if this position is not an option for you, then you can go straight onto your stomach and do one leg at a time this stretch, okay? So that is an option as well if the knees is not okay. All right, if you're on your knees, just take a second and rest. Come off your knees. You can sit onto the side for a moment. Good. Sheila, you can stay exactly as you are, just one leg and then the other leg. Yeah, so do the second side. And Linda and Sophie and whoever's watching this after, let's go back onto our knees and try that one more time. So your legs are parallel. Your hands come behind you. Before you begin anything, you tuck your tailbone under. Really reach your tailbone right through your knees. And then think about your kneecaps reaching down and away from your hips. And your hips might lift a little bit, but the goal isn't to lift the hips. The goal is to increase the distance between the kneecap and the hip bone. And no matter what position you're in, that's your goal. Reach your kneecap away from your hip bone. Good. Okay, let's slowly come out of that position. All right. And come down to a seated position now. So let's put our feet about shoulder distance or wider apart. Prop yourself right up on your hands. Flex your feet and just elongate your spine. And then let's bring both knees over to the right, but keep the left sit bone down. Stay there, sit a little bit taller through your spine. Sink the left sit bone down. Breathe. Maybe you can take one arm off, external rotation, flat palm. Good, sink the knees down another millimeter. Bring the left sit bone down another millimeter. And then bring the hand back down and relax the feet and bring the knees back up to the center. Good, elongate your spine. Flex your feet. Slowly, so that your right sit bone doesn't lift, move your knees over to the left. I don't know about you, this side is a lot more limited, so that's okay. I'm just gonna stay wherever I can remain with the right sit bone down. Take your right arm off, external rotation, extended wrist. Sit taller through your spine, bring your knees a little further down. Think about your sit bone anchoring into the floor. Nice, easy breath. And then you're gonna take the arm away, relax the feet, bring the knees back up one more time each side. Flex your feet, drop your knees down and over to the right, keep the left sit bone anchored. Sit a little taller through your spine, take the left arm off, external rotation, extended wrist, and push that left shoulder blade forward. Push the crown of your head up, drop your left sit bone down, sink your knees down to the right. Hold for 3, 2, beautiful, nice work. Bring the arm out first, then the feet, the knees come back up. Flex the feet and over to the left. Find the first spot where you can stay. Right sit bone is down. Bring your right arm out in front. We'll externally rotate the arm and extend the wrist. Sit a little taller through your spine. The right shoulder blade presses forward. The knees sink towards the left, but the right sit bone gets heavier for just another breath. Tuck your chin, sit even taller as your knees drop down. Yes, beautiful. Bring your arm down. Relax your feet. Bring your knees back to the center. Excellent, nice work. Let's lie all the way down on our backs and we'll come back to some of that extension in a moment. So go ahead and lie down on your back. Good. We'll get into 2 neck ELDOAs with some stretches in between and then we'll come back to those hips. For now, just tuck and untuck your pelvis as you're lying here. working to keep the head and the rib cage heavy on the floor as you tuck your tailbone up and then roll your tailbone away. So you're finding your low back sinking into the floor, and then it lifts off the floor. See if you can do that and keep the bottom ribs heavy. So you really are isolating just the lumbar spine. The bottom ribs stay down on the mat. Good. Now tuck your tailbone. Leave your low back flat on the floor. The bottom rib is heavy into the floor. Nod your chin and let the back of your skull slide away from the tops of your shoulder blades. Bring your arms up over your chest. Externally rotate them and extend your wrists. And take 2 breaths here, just focusing on your spine. Stretching out underneath you. Crown of your head reaching one direction. Tailbone pulling the opposite direction. That's it. Nice work. From here, bring one knee in at a time, right over your chest. Flex your feet. Lift your heels a little higher than your knees. Pull your knees in a little bit closer. Externally rotate your arms a little bit more. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, bring your arms halfway down there in line with your knees. So 45 degrees away from the floor. Stay there and see if you can add a little more, good, external rotation through your arms. Good, a little more reach to the heels of your hands. Let your upper back sink right down between your shoulder blades into the floor and draw your knees in a little more while you reach the crown of your head further away. And we'll stay here, adding a little bit more through the arms, from the shoulders reaching, crown and tail stretching for 5. And 4, think about the hairline level of your neck, yawning open. 3. And 2, last reach, last big breath in and out. Your arms are going to come back up to the ceiling first. Then put one foot down and the other foot down. Relax your spine. Bring your arms all the way overhead and just let them rest on the floor overhead. Stretch one leg out at a time. Good. Reach your body nice and long on the mat. Relax it for now. Take a few breaths into your belly. Let's see if we can let the rib cage sink down a little bit. Let the waistline sink down a little bit. Start to tuck your tailbone and pull your tailbone towards your heels. Flex your heels. Turn your legs in. Invert your feet. Good. Look down over your cheekbones. Now lift your arms just a few inches off the floor. They're still beside your face. Externally rotate them and extend your wrists so your fingertips point to the sides of the room. You're looking down over your cheekbones and just pushing your heels long while you push your hands overhead. See if you can get more of your ribs down, more of your waist and your low back down. Turn your legs in, open the front of the hips for 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring your arms up over your chest. Relax your legs, relax your spine. Bend your knees in one at a time. Keep your arms up over your chest in external rotation with extended wrists. You don't have to work too hard, just keep them there in place. When you're ready, tuck your tailbone under. That low back finds the floor, stretches out long. Nod your chin, the back of your skull slides away from your tailbone. Pull your knees in one at a time, right in over your chest. Flex your feet, lift your heels just a little bit higher than your knees. Take a big breath in. Exhale your arms down towards your hips, right beside your body. Your middle finger just hovers off the mat, and then you're gonna push your hands away so your shoulder blades depress away from your ears. Stay here with your breath. See if you can keep your upper body down, your upper back, right between your shoulder blades. Keep that level of your spine down, that section, I should say. Draw your legs in a little closer to you. See if you could push your head further away from your hands and lengthen the back of your skull further away from your tailbone. Relax your jaw and your throat, but keep reaching. Just about 10 more seconds. Excellent, nice work. In through the nose, out through the mouth for 5. 4, you can also do nose breathing. That's always an option. Good, now relax your arms all the way down. Let those arms rest. Put one foot down at a time. Release your spine, release your eyes. Take a couple of breaths here. Similar to what we did before with both legs extended, only this time one leg at a time. So hug your right knee into your chest. Stretch your left leg out nice and long. Nod your chin. Reach your tail and crown opposite each other. Try and reach your right sit bone away too, so your right hip doesn't hike right up to your waist, but the right side of your body is long as you pull your knee in. Now flex both feet. Turn your left leg in, invert the foot. Push the heel away and let that left hip open in the front. Extend the front of the hip open. Hold on here, breathe. Reach a little more crown to tail. Good, one more breath into the belly, opening that left hip more, reaching the right sit bone a little bit more. Good, and then relax your feet. Back the tension off a little bit through your body and bring your left knee in. So you're holding both knees just for a moment. Good, and then let's release the right leg out nice and long. Both hands hold on to the left knee. Reach your left sit bone away so the left waistline feels just as long as the right side. And then flex both feet. Turn your right leg in, invert your right foot, push your right heel away. Draw the low back down to the floor. Reach the left sit bone further away as you imagine extending open that right hip. And you could do that by pulling the left knee in a little bit closer. Drop your ribs down to the floor, especially that bottom rib, and that can help you extend the right hip open even more. Just one more breath into the belly, push the heel away, elongate the spine, and then relax your feet. Hug both knees in for a moment, let them be wide, so knees pointing to your armpits. And don't work too hard here. This is a stretch, but we're not going to do the full effort. We're just going to hold the knees in. Let the front of the hips soften and deeply crease. And think about your sit bones and your tailbone dropping a little bit away from you, down to the floor. Good. Relax one foot down and then the other foot down. Excellent. Nice work. Roll onto your side and come on up. And we're going back into hip extension land. So once again, the option is always to grab a band or do just on the floor with your hand supported under your forehead and reaching back to the same side foot to stretch out your quads. Alternatively, we're going to test out another option for hip extension. You're going to come onto all fours, knees are under hips, hands are under shoulders. And I'll demonstrate, I'll do left leg first. So you're going to take your left leg and step it forward outside of your left hand. And then you're going to walk your right knee back a little bit. So you just walk your right knee back. And then you're going to pick your right foot up, and with your right foot lifted, you should be on the top above the knee. So the weight should be not on the kneecap itself, but above the kneecap. And then you see if it's possible to reach back to that foot. If it's possible, great. If it's not, don't worry. You can stay there Yep, you can just put the foot back down if you want and tuck your tail. So whether you have your foot in your hand or not, see if you can once again pull that hip bone on the right away from the right knee. And we're holding here for 5 and 4. Draw the hip bone up towards right up towards your belly button. 3, 2. Now to come out very slowly, release the foot if you have hold of it. Bring it down, release the hip. Bring the left foot back and set yourself up centered again with your knees under your hips. Good, and your hands under your shoulders. So we're actually going to do the same side again. Here we go. If you like, you can go onto your stomach, or you can step your left foot forward in front, just beside your left hand, and then walk your right kneecap back. Move your left leg back. Start to bend your right knee so your foot lifts up. Make sure you're on the top part of the knee, and then go ahead and reach back if you can. Wherever you are, whether your foot is down or up, whether you're on the floor or kneeling, you're gonna tuck your tail and try and pull your right hip bone away from your right knee. The closer you can get your heel to your bum, the better. Good, and I'm gonna keep talking so that we get through the last 10 seconds. See if you can pull the hip forward and up, sink the knee down and away, elongate the spine, and then you release the foot if you have it. Slowly return the leg back down. Walk your left foot in. Good, and just lower down into a child's pose or any resting position that feels good for you before we go to the other side. So a couple nice deep breaths here. All right, you can shift your hips side to side if that feels good. Let the low back get a nice opening stretch. All right, and then let's come back up. We're gonna go on all fours again. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Let's see what the left side, this is the right side. Let's see what the right side feels like. So take your right foot and step it forward beside your right hand. And then heel toe walk, or not heel toe, but just sort of toe walk your left knee back. Good. And then when you go to bend your left knee, you should be on the top of the knee, and you can see if you can reach back to that foot. Any different, harder, easier? See where you're at this first go. Even if your foot is down, start to tuck your pelvis. So think about just leave your foot down and think about bringing your hip up and away from your knee. Elongating through the neck, through the thoracic spine. Good, draw your heel a little closer to your bum if you have a hold of your foot, or keep your foot relaxed on the floor and focus on tucking your pelvis. Good, and let's slowly put the foot down. Good, set your foot back, take a moment here. Good, and we're just gonna take a breath or two and try that side one more time. Don't worry if your foot doesn't come up far. Don't force your leg to bend, just keep your knee down, keep your foot down, and focus on your pelvis tucking. Okay, so let's have our hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll step that right foot forward one more time. We'll walk that left knee back. If you're gonna stay here, you just start tucking your pelvis right away. If you're gonna try for this quadricep stretch, you're gonna bend your knee, reach back with the right hand and draw the left foot towards your bum. No matter what position you're in, elongate your spine. Yep, that's it. Good, see if you can pull your hip bone up, that left hip bone up away from the left knee on the floor. Good, draw the heel. If you have your foot in your hand, draw your heel to your bum. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, nice work. Slowly lower the leg down, come slowly out of the stretch and just rest for a moment. Take a couple of breaths. Excellent. Nice work. Shift your hips side to side if that feels good. All right, good. So now, whatever you did before, we're going to do the same thing, whether you were on your knees and reaching back here, or if you were on your stomach doing the stretch here. So find your position, either you're on your stomach or you're going to be on your knees. And this is our final hip extension one. Hands are either back or you're lying flat on your front. We're going to think before we do anything of elongating the spine. See if you can line up your neck, thoracic, and lumbar spines. Good. And now you don't have to push your hips up. You actually just want to reach your knees down and away from your hips. So nice, easy breaths. Tuck your tailbone under so your low back is nice and long. Yeah, that's it, Sheila. That one is just as good. So if you're on your front, draw your knees right together. Push the kneecap away from the shoulder. That's it. Think armpit to knee longer and longer. Good, Sheila. You're going to hold. Linda, Sophie, we're going to come out nice and slowly. Take a moment. Good. One more breath there, Sheila. All right, Linda and Sophie, you're going to come back onto your hands. We're going for the last round. Sheila, you're going to switch sides. So now you're going to go with the left foot reaching back. Those of us on our knees, we're going to reach our kneecaps down to the floor. Tuck your tailbone under and try to increase the distance between your hip bones and your kneecaps. Good. Try not to arch the low back. Pull the hips up, but draw the low back down. Pubic bones up. Ribs are long. Lifted, I should say, away from the pelvis. Good. One more breath, everybody. Maybe it's a little bit easier this time. And then you're going to slowly breathe and come out of the stretch. Very nice. Good. Make your way into a seated position for me here. Just draw your heels right in towards your pubic bones, knees gently pressing down and out to the sides. Good, that's it. Nice work. Flex and evert your feet, which is tricky in this position, but you're going to flex your heels and push the arches of your feet to the floor, and then press your knees down and away. Good, and now stay with that. See if you can bring your pubic bones down to the floor. So we're actually going to go forward onto the sit bones. Don't overarch your low back. Just think about your pubic bones moving down. Press up through the crown of the head. Knees press down. Feet, if you can, are everted, toes extended. One more breath. And then slowly relax your legs. From here, we're in a good position for L4-5. So just release your legs into a diamond. Walk side to side on your sit bones for a moment. Excellent, good. And see if you can just sense where those sit bones are in the mat. So if you want to, you could close your eyes and try and imagine how far apart your sit bones are. And even with your eyes closed here, see if you can find the very top of them. So you're not front of the sit bones, you're not back, but you're right on the top. Okay, eyes open back up. Let's add the arms. Take your arms out in front. Externally rotate them and extend your wrists. We're going to bring our arms halfway up, so about in line with your head. And now pause here, push your arms forward and up. Draw your ribs back, tuck your chin to your throat, bring your neck back. Good, stay with that. Wide shoulder blades on the back. Now to your feet, flex your feet. Evert your feet to the floor, shine your feet to the floor. Pull your toes up to your shins, press your knees down. Good, keep your chin tucked. Bring your arms a little further up, not quite up to your head, but almost. Keep your ribs back. Lift the base of your skull. And then bring your arms all the way beside your head, right beside your ears, narrow arms. Good, now lift out of your low back. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Belly breaths, abdominals are soft. Look down over your cheekbones. Imagine you're sitting against a wall, grow longer and taller up that wall. Keep your arms and your torso going up, sink your knees into the floor. Pull your toes up, evert your feet. Good. Check that the very tops of your sit bones, the center of your sit bones, are rooting into the ground. And you push up a little more, bring your arms right beside your ears for 5. That's it, Linda, right close. And 4, yes, exactly. Lift straight up. 3, lift your ribs for 2. Beautiful, nice back, Sheila, looks good. Slowly bring your arms circling down. Keep breathing, relax your feet and your legs and relax your spine. Excellent, nice work. Let's set your feet flat with your knees bent and just rest here for a moment. Good, all you're gonna do is shift your neck spine a little bit. Take some of the focus up now to the neck spine, shifting one ear over the shoulder and then other ear over the shoulder. Good, and now keep it small and try a circle. Good. Just 3 circles or 3 times in one direction. And then go the other way and try and still find that ear shifting towards the shoulder feeling. Ear shifts over the shoulder, then over the other shoulder. Excellent, good. And land in the center. I did something funny there. Oh well, I did a weird little side bend. Anyway, hands on your knees. Let's work the feet for a lemniscat, big toe up. Arch goes down. Turn your shin bones out, turn your thigh bones in. And really try and picture the bones turning, shins out, thighs in, arches down. Good. Take your arms out in front. Good. We'll externally rotate them. Extend your wrists and spread your fingers wide. Good. Sit right up on your sit bones. Bring one arm halfway up. Good. Shift your head side to side. And then land it right in the center. Bring the second arm halfway up. Shift your head side to side. Good, bring it into the center. Bring your arms all the way up by your ears, close to your head like they just were. Shift your head forward and back. Forward of your arms, back of your arms. Good, leave your head back, tuck your chin. Push the crown of your head up, push your arms up. Widen your shoulder blades, let them slide up. Good. Look down over your cheekbones. Pull your sit bones into the floor, pull your bottom ribs back. Stay with your breath into your belly. Big toes are up, press your arches into the floor more. Turn your shin bones out and turn your thigh bones in and feel your sit bones anchor even more. 10 more seconds. Can you lift out of your ribs? Can you spread your fingers? Push your sit bones actively into the floor while you push the crown of your head up. These look fantastic. Let's hold. Yes, Linda, do it. You can do it for 5. Yep, 4, 3, 2. Arms slowly come down as you breathe. Keep your legs. Keep the lemniscat and the spine. Slowly bring your arms down. Good. And then release just the toes. Then the arches. Then the shins. Then the thighs. Then the spine. Recline on your hands. Stretch your legs out. Good, and give your knees a little bongo drum. I'm just gonna check on the time and see if we have any time for fancy stuff. We do. I'm so happy. Okay, so we're gonna just give our legs a little shake, shake, shake. Okay, I wanna work on one SI joint, ELDOA. This is for, your SI joint is shaped like a boomerang a little bit. It's for the part of the boomerang that goes, so if this is your, SI joint. So if this is your SI joint, this is kind of the shape of them. It's for this part of the SI joint, the bottom part of the boomerang. So in order to do it, we need to have a really good sense of that lemniscat. So one more time, just before we do anything, a couple things. Let's take the left leg out straight and just relax it. Right leg will be bent. And just give me the lemniscat on the right leg. So we're gonna go big toe up, arch down, shin bone out, thigh bone in. And you just want to see, you can even use your hands and then release the lemniscat completely. Let the right leg relax. And we'll do it one more time. And this time I want you to focus on how it changes your hip. So big toe up, arch down, shin bone out, thigh bone in. And I want you to see if you can feel that your hip feels a little more solid, a little more fixed in place with that lemniscat. And then go ahead and relax it. The other thing we're going to practice here is flex your right foot. You can hold on behind your right knee if you want, and evert your foot. So you're going to flex it from the side, and here I'm flexing my right foot, and then I'm everting it, shining it to the side. And that's going to become important, toes pulling up, because we're going to have our foot in kind of or our leg in kind of a funny position. So let's do the left side, all that stuff. So right leg goes long and relaxed, left leg, hold on behind your knee. You're gonna lift your big toe, press the arch of your foot down, turn your shin bone out, turn your thigh bone in, and see if you can notice how that changes, fixes, solidifies the left hip. And then you relax the leg completely and notice how that changes all the way up into the hip. And then, keeping the left leg active, we're gonna flex the foot and shine it to the side. So shine your foot, perfect. Out in eversion, pull your toes up towards your shin. All right, relax your leg. Give both legs a shake out again. Excellent. And let's go into the ELDOA. So it's gonna be a lot of verbal cues. Might be tricky to see all of these things, but you have all of the pieces, so don't worry. We're gonna set ourselves up on our elbows, and you want your elbows right underneath your shoulders. Okay, good. Let's keep the right knee bent, foot flat, knee to the ceiling, and you're gonna tuck your left foot underneath your right ankle. So you're gonna take your right or your left leg out to knee out to the side, foot hooked behind that right ankle. Perfect. Now we have to fix the right hip. So you're gonna lemniscat the right leg. Big toe up, arch down. Shin out on the right leg, thigh in on the right leg, and feel the right hip fixed in place. Now tuck your tailbone under. You might have to walk your hands or your elbows back and try and sink and flatten all the way from your sacrum to your belly button onto the floor. See if you can fix the right hip down a little more. Now the left foot is flexed and everted. So try and push the sole of the left foot into the floor. Tuck the tailbone a little bit more and draw the left knee down and away. Sink the left side of the pelvis. Sink the belly button into the floor. Elongate out through the crown of your head as though you would pull the rest of your spine up and away from your low back. Keep breathing and see if you can imagine the outside of your left thigh. So there's this spot on the outside of the left thigh called your greater trochanter. You're gonna reach it out to the side. So as though the kind of side pocket, side seam of the thigh moves out to the side. The knee is sinking. The foot on the left is flexed and everted, and you're sinking your left SI joint into the floor. Stay here for one more breath. I know it's a tough position for the neck and shoulders. Stay with me for 3 and 2 and 1. Slowly relax the left foot and left knee. Slide the left foot out. Relax the right leg, and then just ease your way all the way down onto the floor. Relax your head and shoulders and let your head loll side to side. So nice, easy breaths. These ones, the SI joint ELDOAs, are not necessarily very obvious. You might have felt that, but if you didn't, don't worry. They're pretty sensitive. And we're working in subtleties, lemniscats, eversions. Okay, let's try the other side. So let's approach it slightly differently. Come all the way up this time, so you're seated up nice and tall. Good. And this isn't a stretch, so happy day, we only have to do it once each side. You're gonna take your right foot and hook it behind your left ankle. Just relax it for now. From here, up on our sit bones, let's lemniscat the left leg to fix it. So big toe up, arch down. Shin out, thigh in, and see how you feel the left side of the hip get a little more anchored. Now flex your right foot, evert your foot towards the floor. Good, and now you're gonna tuck your tailbone under and slowly roll your low back, your sacrum down into the floor. Keep your legs where they are. You can bring them a little closer if they got too long away from you. Elbows under the shoulders. Get the low back from belly button to sacrum down on the floor, and we're working the right SI joint here. So evert the right foot, pull the toes up. Sink the right knee down and reach it away. Press the right sit bone the right SI joint into the floor, and imagine the outside of your hip pushing away from you. So that greater trochanter, the outside of the leg, slides to the side and away. The kneecap pushes away on its angle. The foot is flexed and everted. Elongate your spine up and away from your low back. Sink your SI joints both equally into the floor. Hold here for 10. Try and check the lemniscat leg hasn't fallen away. For 5, good, look down over your cheekbones. You got it, looks good, both of you. For 3, right SI joint sinks, knee reaches, side of the hip moves out. And then slowly release the right foot, bring it back in line with the left foot, relax the left leg, lower yourself all the way down onto your back. Relax your neck by letting it just roll side to side. Good, take a few nice easy breaths there. All right, and when you're ready, roll onto your side, come on up. We're gonna finish with legs up the wall. So take a couple minutes, just set yourself up. Favorite wall, with or without the mat. We're gonna reset everything, recenter everything with a nice symmetrical stretch to finish. Sit bones right up against the wall. Now you can start, of course, with your knees a little bit bent. If your hamstrings are tight and you need to keep your knees soft, go ahead and do that. If not, keep your legs long, but just set your feet hip distance apart so you have some room for the internal rotation and eversion. Let's take a couple easy breaths here. Let your low back sink into the floor. Make your low back being flat and heavy the first priority, and then the second priority is the idea of reaching the sit bones through the wall. So some nice easy breaths. Put one hand on your ribs, the ones that like to stick out, and one hand up on your breastbone or your sternum. Take a big breath in, feel your torso inflate under your hands. And as you exhale, the ribs sink to the floor, the sternum slides down away from the chin. Maintain your low back, and again, breathe in. Let the torso expand. Exhale, the ribs widen down, the sternum glides down. One more breath like that. Inhaling. Use your hands. Keep everything nice and flat. Nod your chin, slide your head away from your shoulders. Flex your feet and straighten your knees as much as they'll go. Internally rotate your thighs. Invert your feet and pull your toes down. If your legs are straight, you can gently press your calves into the wall and let your sacrum drop into the floor all the way through into the basement. Take your arms up over your chest. Externally rotate your upper arm bones and extend your wrists. Spread your fingers wide. Take a big breath in. Let your Torso inflate. Exhale your arms back as your ribs and your sternum slide down. The arms land just beside your head, just hovering off the mat. Push your heart arms away, push your heels up the wall, and try to maintain all the length through your spine, from crown to tail. Push your heels up, but pull your toes down. Turn your legs in, but turn your arms out. Keep breathing, relaxing your jaw, relaxing your throat, relaxing your belly, but let the back of your body continue stretching longer and longer into the ELDOA. And for the last few seconds, see if you can get your low back to drop down into the floor and then pull away from the top of your sacrum. 5 more seconds to maintain all those good tensions. Beautiful, nice work. Bring your arms up over your chest. Keep your legs and your spine long and soften your arms down. Keep breathing as your feet and your legs relax, but keep your spine just for one more breath. Good, and then relax your spine and relax your eyes. Let all the tensions drain out of those tissues. Feel your breath, where it's expanding your ribs, your belly, your back, your chest. Let your bones rest. Legs are comfortable. Eyes are closed if you like. Good. All done for today. Really nicely done.